Oh, hello everyone, it's Susie Crypto Granny here. The date is the 17th of the 12th, 2022. Crikey, the year's going, I tell you, nearly Christmas. And it's 8:31 p.m. in Europe. So let's talk about the cryptocurrency markets, just a lot of FUD out there, I've got to tell you. And, just so much FUD. What else can I say? But before I say that, I've got to tell you, I watched a fantastic show on Netflix last night. Oh my God, it was so inspirational. It was called My Octopus's Teacher. And yes, it was talking about octopuses. And apparently they're very different animals to any other animal. And they're not, how can I say this? They're not in the DNA family of human beings, so to speak. Like we're connected to monkeys and this sort of thing, and gorillas and whatnot. The octopus apparently has 3 brains. It also has, brains and feelings and all sorts of things in its 8 legs. It can camouflage itself all the time. It was just unbelievable. An octopus, a female one particularly, can only live for about a year and a bit. And this thing called My Octopus Teacher was out of South Africa. And it was about a man that had lost his way, a middle-aged guy. And he started diving back into the sea from his hometown. And he got connected with this octopus, this female octopus. And it was an incredible story. And I've looked up, now I'm obsessed with octopuses because apparently octopuses have incredible brain power. It's decentralized all over their body. And look, honestly, what they can do, they can turn on lights, they can turn off lights, they can get out of bottles, they can, find where to get out of cages, all sorts of things. I mean, they've got amazing intelligence, and they've been camouflaging themselves for hundreds and hundreds of millions of years, 700 million years or so. So please do watch it because it makes you feel a lot better than this cryptocurrency market at the moment, that's for sure. As I said, it's a lot of FUD in this market. Market cap at the moment is 813 mil, really low. Volume is very low at 27.5 bill. Liquidity is quite low as well, as 2.675 bill, and Bitcoin dominance is 39.54%. Bitcoin, as we speak, is 16,709. Ethereum is 1178. We've got Binance 236, XRP at 35 cents, and let's have a look at Matic. Matic's at 80 cents. Now, the market has sold down clearly after the rate hikes last week, right? And I just think the central banks in the world are completely wrong. Honestly, they are killing every economy in the world by rate hiking the way they are. Increased interest rates, which kill people on the funding side, on your mortgage side, borrowing money or whatever. And it is really hurting people, I have to tell you that. We looked last week, the Norwegian banks and the Swedish bank, both the central banks, both raised rates. The Swedish one rose rates by 50 basis points, and the Norway bank 25 basis points. Also, we know the Fed raised rates, the English raised rates, the European Central Bank raised rates. So the Fed raised rates by 50 basis points, taking the cash target rate from 4.25% to 4.5%. They're also, of course, forecasting at the end of 2023 rates should be around 5% to 5.25%. Okay, so they continue to raise rates. They don't believe there's any problem within the economic environment. They tend to think that we can easily and nicely go into a recession without too much harm. But when you look at all the other information around, it doesn't look that way. Unemployment is rising. Technology is losing a lot of employers. Also, the big banks in the States, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs and Citigroup have come out and said they're going to actually eliminate employees, right? And that could be thousands across those big investment banks in the US because things are slowing down dramatically, right? Also, they're seeing a lack of consumer spend. The American economy, as you know, 75% made up of consumer spend, okay? If the consumers don't spend or they start hoarding things, it's going to slow down the American economy very, very quickly. My attitude is the Fed is crazy, okay? I really believe they are mad. They want to fight inflation. The last CPI inflation figure we saw was 7.1% annualized, down to 7.8%, but their mandate mantra is to get inflation down to 2.5%. And that takes a lot of rate hikes, interest rate hikes, to do that. at the expense of economic growth. Now, they're talking about a recession. I believe next year we will go into a depression. Some of the figures that have come off in terms of the economic fundamentals are quite startling. I've got to tell you that. I just think these people are on complete drugs. I really, really believe that. Yes, everyone's got inflation, but raising interest rates is not going to help just the average person, okay? The European Central Bank, went for, 50 basis points last week from 1.5% to 2% cash. But the Fed is, right up there at 4.5%. Even the Australian central bank rate is only about 3%. And at the same time, we've got big banks all over the world cutting, right? Goldman Sachs is planning to cut up 8% of its employees' workforce, which is about 2,000 people, right? If we see yields, in the US, yields in the UK and Germany, the 10 years have all gone up quite a bit. The UK, for example, is around, around 3.68. Italy is, for a 10-year bond at the moment, is 4.332. And we know the 10-year bond in the US is about 345, okay? We have seen the equity market sell off quite a lot because of this. Simply because of the Fed rate rises. We do see the consumer spend and economic growth in the US is slowing down quite a lot. And we can see that with the housing market as well. The housing market's dropped about 18% in the last quarter. And basically in some places it's dropped by more than 18%, 25 to 30%. This is in the US. We're seeing it in Hong Kong. We're seeing it in China. We're seeing it in England. We're seeing it in Australia. We're seeing it in New Zealand. Australia's housing market's coming off quite a lot. There's a lot of debt in the Australian market as well as the US market for housing, and it's not a great story. Also, November retail sales fell by 0.6, the biggest decline in the year, and manufacturing output was literally negative. Okay, which means the US they're not developing anything, they're not growing anything, they're not, their consumer rates are going down, but they're not actually developing anything. There's incredibly weak global growth, but yet they have a high US dollar, which is killing the rest of the world and killing anyone that wants to buy US dollar goods. Okay, there's no way you're going to do that with the US dollar up so high. Okay, I don't actually believe in the unemployment figures that are coming out by the US. Not at all. I really don't. And the jobless claim figures for new people going on unemployment benefits, I don't believe in. Now, if we look at the retail spending for the US, last month the spending for the US was down quite a lot, okay? Basically, you can see that consumers are extremely budget conscious. They're avoiding unnecessary purchases, even because of high inflation. And if you look at the figures in detail for the retail sales figures for the US, last month furniture and home goods were down 2.6%. And this is for a month, right? So to get an annualized of that, you've got to multiply that by 12, okay? So say it's 3% by 12, it's down by 36% per annum. You see what I'm saying? And these are big figures monthly, right? Building materials, gardening materials are down 2.5%. Motor vehicles are down 2.3%. Online sales are down 0.9%. And manufacturing, anything to do with manufacturing or growing the economy, is down 11.2%, which I find incredible. Most consumers are basically spending more on money, healthcare and necessities, right? But they just can't afford to spend anything else. And if you look at the composite of the US population, about 120 million people live on, under the poverty line, or they're on some sort of US dollar benefit. The Fed rate rising like this is killing out everyone, okay? It's killing everyone. More and more charities are being used every day. It's just a shock. And I don't believe any of them should have rate rise. It's just stupid. They all follow the same tune. Honestly, they really do. And, they're just killing the market. And that's why we're seeing risk markets come off the way we are. Also with the risk markets, we have this contagion effect because of FTX. Obviously other people that lent the money, need the money back. Right, they're not getting it back because FTX is going into bankruptcy. It's a shocker, right? So we are seeing contagion effect. Some people are saying that digital Cryptocurrency could be the next to go. I mean, people are even talking about Binance, the exchange, being the next to go, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Binance has $60 billion in assets. And also they have, another wallet, a very private wallet, cold wallet, where they have another 10 billion. The point of the matter is, Binance also does 75%, right? 75% of the trading volume in the cryptocurrency market, all cryptocurrency markets, they're everywhere in the world. They are looking for massive amounts of people for compliance and everything, right? The guy is a very, very wealthy guy. But the point is, if Binance goes down, you can forget this cryptocurrency market goodbye. Seriously. What's happening here is, it's the institutions, the powerful institutions as well, that are looking to pretty much, it's almost like the last hurrah. Just, FUD everything about cryptocurrency, everything. And there you go, right? It's a last hurrah, because the banks and all that, if crypto comes into play, think about this in terms of the incredible technology of crypto, right? If banks, get taken over by cryptocurrency providers like XRP or Ripple, they're just going to lose all their, they're going to literally lose all their client base, okay? And, this is what I think. It's almost like this magnificent, huge conspiracy. So as long as the regulation keeps down this technology innovation, which is bigger than the internet, from 1992, they're just trying to stifle this market. Now, again, this market is only 813 billion. The fiat markets alone, including, equities, property, debt, bonds, money market, is 300 trillion. And yet in this new market of cryptocurrency, the regulators allow derivatives be sold, right? Over and above the physical asset. And again, you keep getting these people selling the big players, like the banking players or the funding players or the hedge fund guys or girls, and it's killing this market. And they should never, ever allow derivatives to be played on such a small market like this. It is killing it. But anyway, again, we've got a regulation against these people, and we've got, obviously the big hedge funds shorting all the time, and we've got the FUD out there, which is just unbelievable. And people believe in the FUD because they don't know what they're talking about. Now, Binance has Binance Smart Chain, has NFTs, has its own investments. It's huge. The guy from Binance, Changpeng Zhao, worked for Bloomberg on the coding risk management side. He knows what he's doing, right? He's worked for a lot of companies. I think he even worked for Yield Broker. The guy's been in markets for a long time on the coding, security, encryption side. I mean, it is FUD, 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 because honestly, if people really believe that, read Binance, then you might as well just forget about this market, because they do 75% of the volume, right? If they're gone, there will be no one to show you tight buy-sell spreads. No one, right? You've just, literally the short traders have just effed up the market in a big way, okay? Seriously. And, I can't say any more than that. Seriously, I really can't. What else can I say here? It's very frustrating because the technology of some of these very specific coins that we buy in our investment portfolio, and they are blue chip in our investment portfolio, the technology is bigger than the internet. The blue chip coins that we have in our investment portfolio. Now, in our trading portfolio, we have more spec because a lot of them were startup, okay? So we buy a little bit of spec, but if it goes by the wayside, we've got the incredible technology that we're invested in. And my policy is you just hold things because the market is so negative. The market's been down for 3 years before, 1921, I think. Before that, then there was 6 months of rally, and now it's been down for, another year and a half or 2 years. I mean, it's just unbelievable, really, and everything's negative all the time, but the technology is amazing, right? And all the time we keep seeing new and more and more players coming in. There's some story by Bank of International Settlements that, big banks should hold, 2% of crypto, right? There's a story PayPal's getting more into crypto. It looks like Twitter might be setting up an exchange. It looks like, what is that other company? The big company wants to set up an exchange. Many other companies want to set up crypto exchanges and hold crypto, right? There's just so much negativity out there and so much FUD. It's just unbelievable, right? It really is quite unbelievable. And it's just because people do not understand the cryptocurrency market properly. I've got to tell you that. Telegram was the other one I was thinking that's going to set up an exchange as well. So, we find that all the big fund managers and all the big investment banks are getting into crypto as well. And, we know that Germany, the high net worth funds over in Germany and the specialist funds also have to sit in crypto 20%. The market is incredibly small and it's probably going to take longer because of all this bashing, literally from the regulators and bashing, from everyone in the FUDDers, but also anything like the FTX thing just makes it even worse, I have to say. Anyway, PayPal partnered with MetaMask, which is good for them. They're looking to increase and to get cheaper. PayPal's very expensive, I have to tell you. Also, Wirex has teamed up with Binance, which is fantastic. Great story for Wirex, I've got to tell you that. Absolute great story. But while they keep raising rates, it's going to kill risk markets particularly. But look, like I've said to all my patrons, I'm a holder of cryptocurrency. I will hold it for 5 to 10 years if I have to, because the technology will not go away, okay? The technology just will not go away. It is bigger than the internet. I was around in the internet days, and this technology is unbelievable, okay? Unbelievable. And the FUD Binance, as I said, they do 80% of the business, all business, right? Globally, right? So, you've got to wonder, you've got to do your own due diligence. But look, that guy is a genius. I'm telling you, Changpeng Zhao is a genius. And he's extremely well connected to all the other crypto exchanges that have lots of money. Like Huobi, Justin Tron, for example, like KuCoin, another Chinese compatriot. I mean, Changpeng Zhao is Canadian. He was originally from China, of course, his parents, but he is Canadian and he's very, very compliant. And, this FUDDing is just absolute nuts. Clearly, it's off the back of FTX, which was a completely different story. I don't want to mention any more about that guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, because I've really had enough of him. But anyway, I've got a lot of work to do. I am looking at a lot of different things at the moment. There'll be some really good stuff come out on Patreon next week. Hope you're all well for the weekend. It's getting cold in the Netherlands. It's starting to get really, really cold. And I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you very much for listening and have a great weekend. Thank you.